My sister ignored me for almost a year, called me the villain when I finally reached out to someone who actually missed me, tried to sabotage my wedding, and now pretends I don't exist. Meanwhile, I'm pregnant and exhausted from being the only one who ever tries. My parents have always favored my sister. Let's call her Lauren. It's been that way for as long as I can remember, but this year it hit me harder than ever. My birthday was coming up, and 3 weeks in advance I asked if we could have a small family dinner to celebrate. Nothing fancy. Just a meal together. I wasn't even asking for it on my actual birthday. I'd already committed to volunteering at a kids' camp that whole week, so I suggested the night before. My dad immediately said he couldn't because he was planning a work party and apparently needed that evening to prepare. Lauren and my mom just kept dodging the question, saying they weren't sure yet, like checking their schedules was some impossible task. For context, Lauren's cat had died over a month earlier. It was sad, of course, but my family had been consoling her nonstop, like the world had stopped spinning just for her grief. Meanwhile, my birthday plans, something I rarely ask for, hung in limbo. I kept asking for an answer, hoping maybe this time they'd choose me. But after hearing nothing over and over again, I finally called my best friend, crying, telling her how stupid and rejected I felt. She immediately offered to take me out and celebrate. She sounded genuinely excited, and honestly, it lifted a huge weight off my chest. Then, out of nowhere on the day of the dinner, my mom called. Suddenly, everyone was coming after all. No explanation. No apology. Just a last-minute decision that felt more like guilt than love. I told my friend, who was thankfully still happy to come, probably unaware of just how awkward the night was about to get. And awkward doesn't even begin to describe it. From the moment we sat down, I realized I might as well not exist. My sister spent the entire dinner crying, full-on sobbing, over her cat who had been gone for weeks. My mom hovered over her, comforting her, holding her hands, speaking softly to her like Lauren was the only person in the room. My dad stayed locked in on their conversation, chiming in with sympathetic comments. Nobody talked to me. Not once. It was my birthday dinner, and I felt like a ghost sitting at the edge of someone else's memorial service. My friend must have sensed it, because at one point she quietly reached over and held my hand. She didn't even say anything. She didn't need to. The silence at the table spoke loudly enough. Then Lauren suddenly looked up, wiped her tears dramatically, and asked, "What's wrong with you? Why aren't you talking?" I knew that if I said what I really felt, she would explode. She always does. She turns every uncomfortable truth into an attack on her. So I swallowed it and said nothing was wrong. Dinner ended quickly after that. When we got outside, heading to the cars, she started in on me, full force. She accused me of giving her dagger eyes, demanded I tell her what my problem was, and acted like I had somehow ruined her night on my own birthday. I couldn't hold it together anymore. I started crying, and just walked away. My friend followed me, and we left without another word. The whole ride home, I felt hollow, like I had finally witnessed, undeniably, where I stood in my family, somewhere behind Lauren's dead cat. The next morning, I dragged myself out of bed before sunrise, exhausted but determined to follow through. I kept reminding myself, "You said you'd help. Just be a good sister." I drove the full hour back to her house, still half asleep, but trying to convince myself that maybe today would feel better, more appreciated, more mutual. When I got there, Lauren barely acknowledged the effort it took for me to show up again. She was rushing around, stressed about her party, complaining about the smallest things while I set up the wallpaper station. I opened the box and my stomach dropped. It wasn't peel and stick. It was traditional wallpaper, the kind that needs paste, precision, and basically a degree in engineering. I told her gently, "Lauren, this isn't peel and stick. I literally don't know how to do this type." She rolled her eyes and said, "Well, we need it up today, so just figure it out. It can't be that hard." That sentence alone made my chest tighten. I felt stupid for believing she had double-checked. I felt stupid for not trusting my gut. And mostly, I felt stupid for once again bending over backward for someone who didn't seem to care whether it broke me or not. But I tried anyway. For 2 hours I fought with that wallpaper, measuring, cutting, pasting, smoothing, resmoothing, recutting, only for every piece to bubble or peel or slide down the wall like it was mocking me. Lauren didn't help. She didn't even offer to. She just hovered nearby, complaining about how long it was taking. Finally, I stepped back, covered in paste, sweating, frustrated, and said, "I really can't do this. I told you I didn't know how." She stared at me like I had just ruined her entire birthday. So, what am I supposed to do now? She snapped. The party is in 3 hours. I wanted to scream. I wanted to remind her that I had painted her whole first floor while she sat on the couch. That I had driven 2 hours round trip 2 days in a row after working myself to the bone. That I had emotionally swallowed months of feeling invisible just to keep the peace. But all I said was, I'm sorry. I really tried. She huffed, stormed off, and called our mom to vent, loudly, dramatically, making sure I could hear every word about how I let her down and how she should have known I'd ruined something. I just stood there, hands sticky with wallpaper paste, feeling like a child again. Like no matter how hard I tried, I would never be enough for the people who were supposed to love me first. When she finally returned, she acted cold and dismissive. She didn't thank me for painting, didn't acknowledge the effort, didn't say a single kind thing. She only said, "You can go. I'll figure it out." So I left, drove another hour home, sat in my car in the driveway, and cried because I had no idea how being a sister somehow always translated into being the family doormat. I thought helping her would bring closure, maybe even connection. But instead, it just reminded me, painfully, that in my family my needs, feelings, and boundaries have never mattered. After all that, I honestly thought things would settle. I thought the shouting, the stress, the wallpaper disaster, everything was something we could just move past. I try so hard to be understanding with my family, especially with Lauren, because that's the only way anything ever avoids turning into a blowout. So when she got the custom gift I ordered for her from Etsy and sent me a simple thank you, I let myself believe it was over. I told myself she just needed time to cool off. I convinced myself that the fact she hadn't fully blocked me, she left Snapchat open, meant she wasn't that upset. I'm a forgiving person to a fault, and I try to treat this like every other time, swallow the hurt, let it fade, and move forward. But it became clear pretty fast that she wasn't doing the same. She stopped talking to me completely. When we did see each other, she gave me one-word answers, if she responded at all. It was like interacting with a brick wall. My messages on Snapchat would get left unopened. She'd ignore my existence in group settings. And the worst part? No one in my family seemed bothered by it. Not even a little. My mom eventually told me Lauren was still upset about me leaving that day. I reminded her that Lauren literally screamed at me to get out. What was I supposed to do? Stand there and let her unload on me? Beg her to let me stay? My mom told me I should apologize anyway. Just give in, she said, like it was the simplest thing in the world. Like bending over backward to appease my sister was a normal family expectation. But I refused. I didn't raise my voice at her. I didn't disrespect her. I didn't abandon her. I respected the boundary she screamed at me. And somehow, everyone still thought I owed her something. The more time passed, the more isolated I felt. It was like I was being punished for reacting like a sane person instead of an emotional punching bag. Every interaction, every silent treatment, every cold shoulder just confirmed this unspoken family rule I've lived with my whole life. If Lauren is upset, everyone must cater to her. If I'm upset, I'm too sensitive, dramatic, or misinterpreting things. Months went by, and then New Year's Eve rolled around. I opened Snapchat without thinking, and there it was, a video of my sister getting close with my ex's best friend. He was literally rubbing his head against hers. And even though my sister is gay, even though I knew nothing romantic was happening, it still felt like a punch to the gut. There are certain unspoken boundaries sisters just don't cross. At least I thought so. She barely acknowledged him when I was with my ex, so why suddenly buddy-buddy now? It felt deliberate, like she wanted me to see it, like she wanted me to hurt. I brought it up to my parents, and they all waved it off. It's not a big deal. You're overreacting. Everyone insisted I was being too sensitive. And eventually I convinced myself they were right. I swallowed it, like I always do, and tried to move on. But 9 months passed and nothing changed. My sister still ignored me like I didn't exist. No texts, no calls, not even eye contact at family gatherings. And despite everything, despite the birthday disaster, the screaming over wallpaper, the blocking, the guilt trips, I still missed her. I missed having a sister. I missed feeling like I had someone in my corner. So I ended up reaching out to someone I had been avoiding out of loyalty to her ex. Let's call her Sam. I didn't contact Sam to get revenge. At that point, I'd given up hoping for reconciliation with my sister. But Sam and I had genuinely cared about each other. We were close, like siblings, and when I cut her off for my sister's sake, it hurt both of us. Enough time had passed, and honestly, what was I still protecting? There was no relationship left to respect. When Sam and I met up, we laughed and cried like no time had passed. For the first time in months, I felt like I had a sister again. Someone who saw me, heard me, valued me. Even my parents didn't seem bothered. They told me to say hi to her for them. For a moment, it felt like something in my life finally clicked back into place. And part of me wondered why maintaining that connection felt more genuine than anything I'd had with my real sister in years. When my sister found out, everything exploded in a way I honestly didn't see coming. I had posted one innocent picture, nothing shady, nothing dramatic, because she had me blocked everywhere. I genuinely thought she would never see it. But of course, the universe hates me, so she went to visit our half-sister, and that's how she found out. Not from me. From someone else. And just like that, I became the villain in a story I didn't even know I was still a character in. After 9 months of radio silence from her, 9 months of her pretending I didn't exist, 9 months of her refusing every attempt I made to mend things, suddenly, I was the bad guy for hanging out with her ex. My phone lit up with disappointment. My brothers were upset. My dad was quiet. And my mom? She asked me straight-faced if I had reconnected with Sam just to hurt your sister. I felt like the world tilted sideways. Where was all this outrage when she made my birthday about her dead cat? When she screamed at me after I drove 2 hours at dawn to help her? When she blocked me and pretended I didn't exist? When she was cozying up to MYX's boyfriend on New Year's Eve? Where was the moral compass then? Why is she allowed to cross every boundary without consequence, but the second I breathe in a way she doesn't like, I'm the villain? And the worst part is, the story they're telling themselves isn't even true. I didn't reconnect with Sam out of revenge. I did it because I missed having someone who loved me like a sister, and because my own sister made it clear she didn't want me in her life. And even then, Sam and I cried together out of relief. That's how much we missed each other. That's how much pain my sister left behind in both of us. But none of that mattered. Then came the wedding. I sent her the invitation knowing she wouldn't respond, because she couldn't. Because she blocked me. Still, stupidly, I hoped. I thought maybe being sisters still meant something. Maybe she'd show up, even if she refused to look at me. She didn't. She told my mom she wasn't coming. Just no. No explanation. No moment of reflection. Nothing. Just another silent punishment for a crime I didn't commit. I tried to swallow the hurt, but Rick, my fiancé, couldn't. He reached out to her privately. He didn't tell me exactly what she said, but when he got off the phone, his hands were shaking with anger. He said her words were disgusting, vicious, disrespectful, said with the intent of wounding me in the deepest way possible. He refused to repeat them because he knew how much they'd destroy me. He just said, "After what she said about you, she will not be at our wedding. I don't care who she is." And I believed him. I could see the fury in his face, the protectiveness, the disbelief that someone who shared my blood could speak about me the way she did. After everything, I finally told my family that I didn't want my sister at my wedding. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I was exhausted. She made her choice the moment she blocked me, ignored me for nearly a year, and then only acknowledged my existence long enough to twist the narrative and make me the villain. I wasn't going to risk her showing up to my wedding just to glare at me, snicker with someone in the back row, or say something cruel that would ruin one of the most important days of my life. She had every opportunity to talk to me like an adult. She chose silence, blame, and distance. That was her decision, not mine. Then came the bridal shower. My mom was hosting it, and she told me I couldn't invite my own friend because it wasn't appropriate. But at the very last minute, she asked if my sister and her new girlfriend could come. I felt cornered. I didn't want to start another argument or be accused of excluding her again, so I agreed. They showed up, stayed off to the side, and my sister acted like I wasn't even in the room. No congratulations, no small talk, not even eye contact. Just pretended I wasn't there at my own bridal shower. And then my wedding day came. The day I had dreamed about. And she didn't show up. No text. No call. Not even a message through our parents. I walked down the aisle without a sister in the crowd and pretended it didn't hurt, even though it absolutely did. Now I'm pregnant with my first child. A whole new chapter of my life. And my sister still acts like I don't exist. She hasn't reached out, hasn't acknowledged the pregnancy, hasn't asked if I'm okay. Nothing. It's like she wiped me off the face of the earth. And what breaks my heart the most is that she's missing everything, not just my life, but the chance to be an aunt, to be part of something bigger than our stupid fights and her pride.